There.
Boom, I see legs in the back.
You guys are on whenever you're ready to start talking.
Oh, okay. Well, here we are. It's the Roseanne podcast.
Legs.
And I have on a real funny guy. I saw his videos on the internet on YouTube where I'm addicted and I have to watch videos all day and all night. And so I saw Lonnel on there, and he's a very funny guy, makes me laugh, 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 laugh. So welcome, Lonnel Harris. Hi, Lonnel.
Thank you. And that's great coming from a legend like you saying I'm funny. When I used to watch you talk all that shit on your show, and I'd be like, what is I studied, when I started studying comics in the game, I started studying like a lot of old school comics, and I heard your story about how brave you was and things like that, you know what I'm saying? And your story kind of inspired me, you know what I'm saying, a little bit, because you didn't give a damn what people said. You went out there and spoke your mind, you know what I'm saying? And they wasn't ready for your comedy then. So it's a great honor to be talking to you.
Well, do you think they're ready for your comedy? I certainly hope they are. It's definitely new.
It's definitely new. It's definitely different because, like, I pride myself on being ghetto, and I'm a political comedian, and people ain't used to my type of comedy, because I can talk about anything. I done made jokes about baby murders. I done made jokes about sexual assault. I take some of the darkest jokes in the world and I turn it into comedy for some damn reason. I don't know if I got a sixth sense or something like that, but it works out for me.
You got what it takes. It's like everything's funny. You got to make everything funny. As soon as you make it funny, you take away the negative power of it.
Yeah, and nowadays it's hard to be like it's hard to be, for me, it's hard to be a comedian sometimes. Not now because I got a lot of support. But back in the days, like, I only been doing comedy for 4 years, and I always had to style of comedy. But my style of comedy didn't get me inside of clubs, and then I was blackballed from a lot of clubs and things like that. So, and I didn't really get a start in comedy because people was hating on me, and styles. I grew up watching Don Wrinkle, so when I was a little ass kid, I'm in there listening to Robin Harris tapes and Richard Pryor tapes. Yeah, I'm not listening to I'm not listening to that. I'm listening to comedy because when I grew up, I wanted to be two things. I wanted to be something like Robin Harris and Luke, the rapper Luke. So what I started doing rap shows, right? And I was the only comedian in comedy doing rap, comedy, and stripping in the same damn show.
I didn't know you were stripping.
No, I wasn't stripping. I had the women shaking their ass. I wasn't stripping. Hell no. I ain't got the body for that. Look, I used to have sex with this girl. She was bulimic. She wanted me to take off my clothes before she threw up. You feel me? So I ain't got nobody like that. Shit is sagging on me. I got more stretch marks than my baby mama. Like, I can't do that.
I love your baby mama jokes. I hate my baby mama jokes. They remind me of my old husband jokes.
Oh yeah, because like if you for real about it, the passion is there, so people feel that passion, and people like, you really hate your baby mama, and I'm like, hell yeah, I got 1 million jokes about my baby mama, and I'm only on 9 and 19. So you know how many more jokes I got about my baby mama? I got a chapter of jokes about my baby mama. She is my main character.
Oh yeah, my God. She is.
I know, and most of the stories, like, some of the stories are based on true life stories, because when I was actually living with my baby mother, I wasn't actually in a relationship with her, but I just thought of all the nasty things about her, like why she don't shave her chin, you know what I'm saying? Like, or if I went to the bathroom, I'm like, who hair is this? Who chin hair is this in the bathroom? Is it mine or is it hers? You know what I'm saying? Because this is because we don't need, her daughter don't need to be seeing this, So it was kind of, she wanted to wear my boxers. It's like, it was out of control. She was real disrespectful. So I got a lot of jokes from actually living with my baby mama. I would, if I live with my baby mama right now and I got jokes, I would be a millionaire.
Do you really have a relationship with her?
Hell no, I don't have no relationship with her. I got a relationship with one of my. I got two baby mothers. Right, I'm lucky to have two baby mothers that's black, black, ugly. You know what I'm saying? Because if one of them think I'm talking about them, I'm like, I was talking about the other bitch. They'd be like, oh, okay. You better not be talking about me, and I do be talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Because one of them is dumb and one of them is ugly. You know what I'm saying? So the dumb one don't know I'm talking about her. You know what I'm saying? Because she's too damn dumb, right? And the ugly one thinks she's cute. You know, so it's like I'm safe.
Now, how did you end up having babies with two women you don't like?
I was drugged by one and kidnapped by the other one. You know, the one that's a monkey, she the kidnapper. You know, she the kidnapper. You know what I'm saying? The other one, the dumb one, she's the one that put the Visine or the Mickey, the Bill Cosby in the so I'm dealing with two.
You just been abused terribly by these women.
Yes, that's why I'm locked in a cage right now. I don't know. Look, this may look like a house, but this is actually a cage. I'm under self-quarantine, witness protection, support neglection. I'm under every kind of whatever you want to name. I'm in a cage. I don't have no windows. I don't have no wall. Look, this is just a wall. It's 4 walls. That's it. I ain't a refrigerator, nothing. I'm scared.
Are you scared of these women for real?
I'm scared of these women. Not one is abusive and one want money, you know. So it's like I don't get my ass whooped, I don't get my money took. It's both of them is bad options.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Do you have a good one now?
One of them is becoming good because she has a man and they both kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like two nuts together. You're like, oh, she found her a nut. You know what I'm saying? So now she can leave me alone. So when you see two nuts together, you just leave them alone. You know, she got her good nut, so she don't mess with me no more. So I'm hoping the other one find her a good woman. You know, I hope she'll find her a good woman. Some woman come and sweep her off her feet or something like that. Because the last woman she had, I didn't know who was the man and who was the woman because the other girl dressed like the dude, but my baby mama, she the one had the beard. You know what I'm saying? So like, which one of y'all have to switch? Because the one with the dress like a dude, she didn't have no face hair, and my baby mama dressed like a woman, and she had all the facial hair. So
well, what a new world it is.
Yeah, what a new world it is. You know, you can't call her cute. Like, oh, you cute. Oh, don't call me cute. I'm like, all right, my nigga.
You were in prison, yeah?
Yeah, I was in prison. That's where I kind of started at. Like when I went to prison, I kind of turned my life over to God. And the first day in prison, I told God, I asked God, like, I read a book called Conversations with God. I read a book called Conversations with God by Lonnel Walsh, and it taught me a different way to talk to God. You know, I don't pray. I tell him what I want in advance because he already made it possible. So I knew everything about God, but I was too busy doing street stuff, you know. And then I actually got caught up, you know, and I talked to God, and he had to talk with me. I took you away from everything, the distractions and things like that. And then I asked him for a plan. You know, like, give me a plan then. He's like, nigga, you funny. Nigga, go out there and write jokes while you up in here, and when you get out, you'll do be blessed with the gift I gave you, you know? So when
That's
I was
what he told me too. That's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, he told me
when
the
you
same
got out of
thing.
prison?
Well, I got out of my mother's house, which was like prison. But, maybe not. I know prison is bad. I shouldn't make jokes. I've been fortunate enough to not go to prison. I'm very lucky I didn't go to prison.
Yeah, all the shit you done. I'm surprised you wasn't on Snap. The delete. We got they probably got a cold case on you. I'm thinking you got a cold case out on you. They just ain't found the body yet. I'm believing they ain't found the body. We may be talking to a comedian, a legend, and a serial killer, all rolled into one.
You could be.
Yeah.
Well, I like
But
to kill people with comedy. I like killing that way, you know. I like getting up on stage and killing.
Me too. Like, and I learned a lesson, right? Because in prison, if you wasn't funny, you can be killed. You know, you can't be like, hey man, say a joke, or I'm gonna rape you. You're like, man, wait a minute. What do Kim Kardashian and a jail cell have in common? Like, I don't know. Tell me. They both probably got a nigga inside both of them. Be like, oh, I was gonna rape you, Mr. Funny Man, but I'm gonna go. You had to be funny because you didn't want to be part of the gang violence. You didn't want to be shot by the police. You even had to be funny with the police. So my whole time, I read a book called...
I've seen you be funny with the police. I've seen you make them laugh, and that's some power. You're walking that line right with the police, and you're saying the truth and saying it funny.
You got to find a thin line, because one thing I learned about old school comedians like you, Don Rickles, Richard Pryor, Robin Harris, I told the truth, and the truth was funny. You know, when you tell the truth, you never run out of jokes. You got to search for jokes, and you're going to look for lies. You got to make up stuff and create stuff and things like that. When you tell the truth, you know, about certain things, like, I don't know why people think I'm so funny sometimes. You know, like, why do people think I'm so damn funny? Right? And I used to listen to a lot of comedians, like when y'all used to win awards and be on TV and say, oh, I really love my fans and my fans this. And I understood, like, they can't love their fans that damn much. Like, they lying, you know? And I didn't understand until I got in the position, like, y'all actually love y'all fans. And I can understand, how you can say I love my fans and the fans that supported you through thick and thin and stood by you and believe the bullshit, the racist bullshit that they said on you. That was some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
Oh, come on,
that
man.
Was the hardest one. That was the worst.
And then look, I had somebody on my page bring that up. I got an interview with Roseanne Barr tomorrow, right? And I put it on my Facebook page. Everybody on my page, right? Mostly white people. Hey, congratulations. She's my favorite. She's the best. She's a legend. One of the dudes, a black dude that I helped out, he probably was the only dude that commented on my page. One of the dudes that I helped out, oh, you got a interview with an old washed up legend, this racist and shit, black folks. And then I was like, hold on, your career never started. You know what I'm saying? And then my whole Facebook page totally tore his ass up. I bet he would not even say the name Rose any damn more. You know what I'm saying? And that's good, because we got to respect. And it wasn't the fact that he disrespected you. He also disrespected me, because he calling my career washed up. And he calling me I ain't shit and I'm selling out and things like that. And I understand, like, you have to have thick skin. And I understand, like you, right? I go through a little bit of what you've been through, but you went through it on a national stage. So I only can imagine, like, I'm doing it on a small stage. You doing it on a national stage. You on TMZ and ET and NBC and things like that. I'm just on Facebook and YouTube. So I have a small circle that says that, right? And I have to brush it off. You have a global circle that comes at you, and you have to defend yourself. So how do you deal with that?
Well, like you said, you know, I got God, so I don't need nothing else. That's how I look at it. You know, I got a clear conscience before God, and God knows I'm not a racist. I'm anything but. And, you know, my whole life I fought for, you know, equality for Black, you know, equality in the United States, and equality for the voiceless, and, you know, everybody who's oppressed. That's been my whole life. That's why I'm alive. If I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be alive. And so they knew where my Achilles heel and my soft spot was, and they really fucked with that, man. But, you know, I think people, you know, like I say, the same people that wouldn't let me hire black writers when I was fighting so hard to get black writers for decades on my shows, the same people that would not allow me or give me such a fight to do that, I did hire a totally integrated crew because I've always been for, to represent the working people exactly as they are, the color they are, the way they think, the neighborhood. The working people is an integrated group, and they don't like that. But they don't like any working people. But, I just, I just trusted that the 30 years of my career spoke more to people for what I've done. Oh, I was saying the same people that give me such a fight on that and called me every kind of racist name you can think of, because they're always the ones that use the racist terms. They're the same ones that's calling me a racist now. So I know
Wow.
who it comes from. I know why they do it. They just want, they just, they want to see. Well, we'll talk about that later. But they're not on
Do
any
you,
black people's side. Let's say that they're not on the black community side. They're not for black people. They don't want equality for nobody. They're just, it's all a rich man's trick. And I always try to stay against that for the people who, of all colors, who are working people that make everything go in the world. So they,
so
they
so
did what they did to me, and they did it for, because I like Trump. That's why they did it.
yeah. So what do you
That's
think
why
I'm going to? What do you
That's
think
why
I'm going
they
to have
did
to?
it to you. That's why they go on YouTube, because we like Trump, We like sovereignty. We like people being able to, live in a decent area, have decent schools, have a chance, to go forward and build their lives instead of be crushed down all the time. We like that. And that's what Trump likes. And they don't like it. They just want a pool of people that they can continue to, do what they do and use.
I got a question, right? As a comedian coming up, because I haven't tapped into the industry yet, because I want to be more independent, right? So as far as making it, what do you think I'm going to have to deal with more? Racism, sexuality, or homosexuality?
Well, it's the trifecta. There you go. It's a
Whoa.
trifecta.
Wait a minute. Wait, so you mean I'm gonna have racist men that's out trying to fuck me, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be sexist to me? Wow. All that is rolled into one, so it's not one is above the other one, it is all
No,
this.
no. You got to do you don't want to go there. I'll tell you that right off. You don't want to go there because it's stacked against you in every way. If you're doing anything that comes from truth, first of all, they don't like that. No matter what color or gender or whatever else you are, religion, they don't like nothing that tells people the truth. They hate that. And comedy, that's
Yeah.
why they just hate comedy too, because comedy does tell people the truth. But you see, like the comics now, they're all doing the spoon feeding the truth, and they overlook the huge truth, which I think George Carlin said best. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah, you ain't in it. I love that line right there. I love that line.
Yeah.
Right.
But they
And,
don't. They
and
don't want you. They just want you to make fun of people who, They want you to make fun of the people who they think you represent, so they can tell those same jokes at their parties. The donor
um,
class, I call them. The donor class, they like our jokes if they can tell them to other rich people while they're, laughing at us.
wow. Do you think,
So there
like
you
me,
have
right?
it.
Comedy is hard for some people right now. It's kind of easy for me. Do you think this coronavirus, you know what I'm saying, is going to change comedy for the future?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to make people a lot funnier because, when you're locked down in your house and you can't go run around and shopping and all those other diversions, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and you got to be you got to have some introspection. And that's where good comedy comes from is, quiet times where you're thinking about yourself, your soul, your life. That's when all the good jokes come. If you're when you're a writer, you got to have introspection and quiet space to create those jokes. So I think it will help it get everybody funnier because you'll be able to pull the bullshit from the joke. Get the joke real
Yeah,
sparse. You won't have to
yeah.
set it up so long with all this bullshit to get a laugh. You'll just go ping, like you do, and they don't. They have to like slowly come into the paradigm that you're presenting. I like that about you because you're not You're not doing like 3 minutes of apology to get them there. You're just boom, and they got to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's why
And
your comedy is potent.
that's one thing of like I have people telling me like, well, monetize your page and put commercials on your page, and I don't want my page to be watered down like that. I want my page to be
Uh-huh.
authentic. You know, I don't be doing skits and then you see a commercial with Nissan in the middle of it and things like that.
The first time you take any money from any sponsor, that's opening the door to the devil. Because what they do right after they give you the money is say, "We would appreciate it if you wouldn't say that." And then and then you're compromised and you can't be funny. Then you gotta do cornball
Yeah.
material for the donor class. You can't never go to the revolutionary part because you're compromised. So don't take no money and don't take no ads. You want my advice? You don't have to go by it because my advice is you'll make $6 a month like I do on
See,
YouTube.
I rather do that than to be a sellout or some shit like that, because there's one thing about my comedy. I always had people trying to change my comedy, but I always believed in myself. So when I done my time in prison, I got out of prison, right? And I started investing in myself, but I was working for other people. I was in the club, right? So
Uh-huh.
somebody gave me a club. So I'd be the promoter. I pass out the flyers, made the flyers. I put the
Right.
lineup together. I'm doing the commercials, all that, right? I'm giving away prize. I'm doing all that, and after the show, I get $25, some chicken, and two, right? But I'm happy, I'm happy because I'm getting stage time, I
Right.
watched the interview, and it said, I watched the interview with Damian Dash is about being your own boss. So I said, wait a minute. All the clubs I was doing, I was the funniest person in the club. So if I invite 20 people in the club and I'm the funniest one and everybody else is garbage, it makes me look bad because I can't bring nobody else to the club like, hey man, come to the club. Like the last time I paid $25 and I bought this and I wasn't laughing only at you. So I took that into mind because I wasn't laughing. So what I've done is I invested in myself. I moved out of my apartment. I went homeless. I bought me a mobile home, sold my car, and invested in myself. I bought me. I bought a club.
Wow.
Yeah, I not bought a club. I leased the club. I invited the comedians I thought was funny, and I started doing the same things I was doing for other people. I started doing for myself, right? But remember, I'm still a Democrat, right? But I'm not understanding. The thing of I'm doing capitalism stuff, right? So I'm still a Democrat. I'm still listening to people like everybody ought to get money. We ought to share and split this. And I'm like, hell no. I work harder than everybody, so I should deserve money than everybody. Don't give me $20 of chicken and you giving him 20, and he ain't spent $1, done nothing for the show, right? So when I started investing in myself, right, I started being able to make my own rules, right? I can make my own comedy. I can do my own shows, and every show I was doing was hit shows because I paid the comedians because I understood how it was to do comedy and not get paid. So I paid the comedians, and I packed out the clubs and I started investing in myself, right? And then I helped out so many comedians in LA, right? I done had over, like I wasn't doing comedy alone, right? I had over 1,000 comedians, 1,000 rappers, singers, all that on my show, right? Interviews, podcasts, all that, right? When I started doing political comedy, right, and I started getting subscribers on YouTube, and I started getting a different crowd, right? All of them turned their back on me, right?
Right.
But
Me too.
When I was doing comedy, all of them that I invited on, not about, like I said, over 1,000, only about 3 of them ever invited me to do a show on their show. So
That's how it works. It's just
wow.
that's how it works. If you have the ability, and not a lot of people have the ability to own their own work, it's about that. You don't have the ability to own your own work and then to control the channels of distribution that show your work and take the money in from the advertisers that you deserve rightly a part of. You know,
Yeah.
everything to beat the artist down. All you have to look at, like what they did to, you know, I always go back to rock and roll singers in the 50s, and you know how they took their whole work, they took their art, they took everything, and you know, they end up with nothing. And you know, that's just how it works. They don't allow you to own your own work or to profit from it. Your work belongs to them, and you can get a pittance. If you're lucky, you get 10% of the work you do. It's the
Wow.
worst. You know, it's the
Wow.
worst system you
10%.
can come up with in Hollywood. That's nothing but a fascist system. And then they're going to tell me about democracy. They can kiss my democratic ass.
Wow, 10%. You worked that hard. So all the work you was doing, right? Say we saw you on the Roseanne Barr show and all of those stuff, right? So were they treating you right, or were you doing it because you didn't know no better, or was you feel you was getting treated right with finance
Well,
and exposure?
I come from, I pretty much come from, you know, working class streets myself. And my dad was you know, my dad was kind of a con man. And my family, you know, was kind of like that, you know. And so I knew some stuff about how, well, just say OG. I knew some OG stuff, you know.
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
when I, you know, and so when I went in, I knew they were going to take most of. I knew, you know, the only way you get a job is if you give up everything you work for, and then you know, like I say, you're able to retain 10 to 20% of everything you created, and you know, that's if you're lucky. You got to give it
Yeah.
away. There's no other way to get on TV or in any media than to give away your work and, you know, have them put their name on it, and that's what they do best.
And it's
So
one
I
thing
always
about me.
knew that, but all I wanted was to make people laugh. So I thought, well, that's the price you pay when you go to work for, you know, any system, a corporate system. And all these people who work for corporations, boy, they sure blab on a lot about democracy. But you know what? A corporation isn't a democracy. You don't, you know, you get fired any day for any reason. 2 days before you work 50 years to get your retirement, they don't have to give you a reason. That ain't no democracy. And so they should just shut their mouth about democracy. But
Wow.
and you know, they all go together. Well, they're ripping off artists and talking about democracy. You know, you know what I mean?
Uh, yeah, exactly. That's what one reason why a lot of people tell me like, "Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do that." And I tell people I don't want to sign no contract because I don't want
Mm-mm.
nobody my content away because I have unique content, right? I don't want nobody like
Right.
you say. I would appreciate if you don't say that. That's why I'm glad I have the support of Trump supporters and MAGA because without them, I wouldn't be able to do the comedy that I'm doing right now. You know, or I wouldn't be able to be as successful as I am right now. But if it wasn't for them supporting me, sharing my comedy, you know, and things like that. And before we go any further,
Yeah,
I want to give a shout out.
it's real grassroots. It's real righteous
Yeah.
and real grassroots that the people are, you know, enabling us to go out there and put our ass on the line to try to tell other people the truth. We have to have some backup for that. You know, you see, I don't. I've been through it 3 or 4 times where you know, I would go out there on the line. Like, you know, the Roseanne show, I helped to unionize that show because it was not a union show when I started. You know, I put my ass on the line for my crew to
Mhm.
bring them to union wages and health care and retirement and things they should have for creating a $1 billion industry and being part of it. You know, I have my ethics, and I believe people should be paid for their work, and they should receive a percentage of the profits of that work because that's freedom, right? That ain't slavery.
Yeah.
We're against slavery. So, you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, when it all came down, it was a betrayal from the very bottom of that all the way up. Not one of
Wow.
them came to my defense over one sentence in 30 years of fighting on the behalf for uh, equality
So,
and one law for everybody. So, you
wow.
know, you gotta wake up to the ugly, you know. But then, like we were talking, well, I have God. So, you know that they don't like that. And the devil is a busy man. So he can get in a
Yeah.
lot of people's hearts, people who say they love you. And, if it comes between you and a check for 10 cents, they're going to take the check.
Yeah, and that's one reason why I wouldn't do it right. And a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you a sellout and you a fool and things like that," right? And I tell them
Yeah.
the easiest for me to do, right, and I would be way more successful than I am right now, is be anti-Trump, right?
Right.
But then,
That's what my boyfriend always
myself,
says, because my boyfriend harasses people in Hollywood on Twitter. He's brilliant. But like he goes,
yeah,
I can't remember the last actor who came out and said, oh, Trump is horrible, and my boyfriend went on there and he wrote, wow, how brave of you to be anti-Trump in Hollywood. That really took some
yeah.
balls for you to go out and please everybody who your masters who pull all your strings. That really took some balls for you to go out there on the line like that, because they're
People,
cowards.
yeah, exactly. And people think like I posted like automatically like Joe Biden say all blacks supposed to think alike basically, right? And people think
Right.
just because I think different that I'm a sellout, right? But I tell them I want the same things you want in my community. I want my black kids to get educated. I want black men to stop dying. I want gang violence and police
Right.
brutality to stop, right? It's just I'm on the other side of the fence because I believe in different politics, right? And right and you get
Yeah, we just
past,
disagree on the method of getting there. That's what they refuse to
yeah.
look at. We all have the same ideals, but we just disagree on the method of getting there. And I think like sharing is the big thing that they don't like to do. They hoard. And Trump's about sharing.
And they don't like talking. Every time you try to tell them why you're a Trump supporter, and things like that, they don't want to hear. They always want to hear the narrative. Like if I tell somebody, right, the dude who got shot in L.A. by the sheriffs, even though it's I speak honestly and truthfully, right, and we're from the same neighborhood, same friends and all that, right? But I have to speak honest, right? And I went against my friends, like, hey, man, the friends I used to be in gangs with and all those, so we men and do it from the same gang. Hey, man, he fought the police. He had a gun. He reached down and dropped and reached for it, and the police shot him. I can't defend that because I'm not going to act like I'm brand new right now, because of Black Lives Matter and things like that. We done been seeing this type of stuff happen for years. Now I know when innocent people get shot. I'm from the hood, but he wasn't innocent. We know what he was going to do and all of that, So when it comes back, don't act all surprised. So you don't see a lot of people from my neighborhood out there defending that because we know the consequences of gang banging and doing what you do. So you don't see a lot of people from that neighborhood. You see the family and all that because the family want the money, But you don't see nobody from our neighborhood out there protesting because we know it's wrong. It's only the people that's outside our neighborhood coming into our neighborhood telling the police it's wrong for doing that. But in our neighborhood, we know certain things are wrong. You don't assault the police and then tase them. You know what I'm saying? Try to tase them. You don't tell the police you're not going to get in your car. You don't turn your back on the police and then go to your car. You know what I'm saying? And reach in your car for things. There's certain things you don't do. So in my neighborhood, what I tell everybody, because a lot of people don't like to get on camera in my neighborhood, is everybody agree with the people y'all say are racist. Every niggas out here gang banging, black people are running to the street. They are saying the exact same thing that you said all these racist people are saying, that the man shouldn't have done that. I talked to him. I wish I could put him on camera. They're not saying anything different. So if you're going to say these white people are bad, right, go out and say these same black people that live in the neighborhood that this is happening to is bad because they're saying the same thing. I would have never done that. So now we and I tell people, hey, man, this is the message. Ask your cousin, is that cool? That's out there gang banging. Is he going to hit the police and sock the police or even fall asleep drunk in a damn drive-through? You know, so certain things you don't do. So it's a lot of like I say,
It
people
really
setting apart.
upsets me so bad when they're setting these kids up, because they're so young and such. It upsets me so bad, but to see them being set up and lied to like that and saying, "Oh, you're a big hero because you're going to get shot." It really,
Oh,
really upsets me. It really, really upsets me. And where are these mothers that are going, "Hey, here's what you do if it's so dirty." But I think the dirtiest part of it are the courts. And I've been saying this because, like, when you look at the courts and you want a just what do you call it? Verdict from the courts. That's what we all want, right? We want to live under equal laws, one law for all. And you want the right
exactly.
verdict to come down from the court. But when you got nothing but compromised juries and judges, you're not going to get that. And it seems like nothing is by mistake. It is all that it is on purpose. That there are kids who are living under, you know, uh, you know, this terror in your neighborhood and these neighborhoods all over the United States, living in terror like it's Lebanon, man. That is an accident. And then to goad them and use them to go, hey, you got to go up and spit in they're going to get knocked down. Why do that? That's the opposite of creating the kind of justice that we all want. You're using those kids. You're not helping them.
I got a story. I got a story. The reason I'm on probation right now, right? This is the reason I'm on probation right at this minute. It's funny you say the justice system, right? When I told you I'm investing in myself and things like that, I'm the promoter and things like that. You know about the California EBT card, right? That's my business card. My business card is a California EBT card, right? There's another one somewhere
Uh-huh.
around here. So I was in the store, in front of the store, 7-Eleven, that I always pass out my EBT cards in front of, you know what I'm saying, and everything. I was doing a live video at the same time, passing out cards. Hey, I'm out here, you know what I'm saying, like that, right? I prided my comedy on being the drug dealer comedy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like the drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? I come out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here every day, things like that, right? So I'm making videos, right? I'm passing out cards. The police in the parking lot, right? I'm not tripping. I'm passing out the card. The 7-Eleven dude, no, I'm passing out the card. It's a camera right here, so I'm not doing anything, right? The police got the car and pull me and another dude over, right? Check us both and put me in the car, and then took us to the police station. I didn't get a chance to talk to the dude. Right? Like, what y'all taking me to the police station for? Said we found dope on dude. I'm like, well, I didn't give him no dope. I gave him a card. You know what I'm saying? You can check his property, right? Long story short, right? But by the time I got a chance to talk to the police, they already let this dude go, right? So the police couldn't check his property or nothing, So they couldn't check and see that I have proof of me giving them a card, right? I said, look at the camera. Who gives somebody a dope and they put it in their wallet? It's an EBT card, you know what I'm saying? So most people put it in their wallet. I don't know what the dude got on when he walked up. The 7-Eleven dude know me. Everybody know me, right? So the detective believed me and let me go, but they gave me a court date, right? I've been in prison. They ain't supposed to let me go. So when I went to court, I thought they would release it. But they say, your past is so bad, we have to arrest you. I said, why? Not, because we got arrested because you have a history of this. That has nothing to do with
Oh
what I
my
was
God.
doing, right?
Right.
So then I went to jail, right? And I had to bail myself out. Remember, I'm doing all these comedy shows and things like that. I have to use half the money I earned to bail myself out, right? And then I said, this should be easy, right? So when I went to court, I asked the lady, my public defender, can you please get the video? Because the video showed me passing out the cards
Right.
and my Facebook videos, right? So she like, okay, we'll ask about them. 1 month passed, 2 months passed. She said, we can't get the video. I said, the police got the video. You can get it from them. 3 months passed, didn't get the video. So I had to break myself again and hire a private lawyer, right? Now my private lawyer got the video, right? And he showed me passing out the cards and things like that, right? So in preliminary trial, he caught the police in a lie. The dude say, I threw something on the ground, and he threw the money on the ground. I picked it up, and he picked it up. That contradicted what the police said, because he said we done a hand-to-hand transaction, you know. And on the video, it showed me giving him something, which was a card. I had a stack of cards in my pockets. So long story short, my lawyer, before we finna go to trial, my lawyer dies with all my evidence work. Right, the same lawyer worked on the Latasha Harlins case. The girl got shot by the Chinese lady in L.A. The same lawyer, he dies with all my paperwork. Right, so they spend 2 years looking for my paperwork, and they say, well, we can't find your paperwork, so we're gonna have to get your paperwork from the DA's paperwork. We're going to get you and give you a public defender. And I can't get a regular public defender because the other dude had a public defender. So they got to give me an alternative public defender. Right? So they can't find my paperwork. Right? And I'm thinking case going to be dismissed. You can't find my paperwork. You can't find my evidence. The police say they have the video, but they ain't got it no more. You know? So now I'm like, can y'all dismiss it? The lawyer told me, look, they don't want to dismiss it. Either you can go to trial, and I can tell the jury that you lost your we lost your video, we lost this and lost this, right? Or you can take it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I've been to trial 20 times, and I lost 17 times. He told me this. I got it on. I lost 17 times. I'm like, so either you can take it, and if I lose, they're going to give you 15 years. So either you can take your chance and do 15 years, or they're going to give you a deal for probation.
Good like God. I think they're locking up. The thing that's so wrong about everything, I think, is, well, they're locking up all the innocent people, letting the guilties walk. Now, what would happen if that was reversed? That might be good. You know how many innocent people are in prison in, let's just say, California? When I ran for president in 2012, I saw those statistics of, how many people are innocent or wrongly convicted and are in prison. And look at Kamala Harris. She's the one that put a lot of them there, particularly from the Black community. And now they got her being the champion of the, of Black people. I mean, what a mindfuck is that?
I done a skit about Kamala. Kamala Harris was laughing at Black people, at mothers going to jail for their kids being truants. She laughing at a homeless woman. She laughed at a homeless woman. That is so disrespectful. And they do a lot of disrespectful
things. She locked up Black parents whose kids were truant from school and laughed about it. And now she's supposed to be like the pinnacle of, again, that bullshit democracy that they push. And you know how they what a laugh they get off at our expense over that? They go, oh yeah, we'll get them all to vote for, a Black woman that locks up all the Black people. That's how dumb they are.
And not even Black, and not even African American. Ain't that a bitch? Her father is half white and Jamaican, and her mother from West Indies and Asian or something, So she's not even Black, and
well, she doesn't have the context of the African American community. She doesn't have that context, and she doesn't really care about that community at all either. That's just she's a predator and they're her prey. And that's what makes me mad, because I've been talking about that my whole life in my 2012 campaign for president. Go on YouTube and see some of my speeches where I talk about, legalizing marijuana because the fact is it was a class war, and it was their drug wars were a drug war against Black youth to get them at the height of their power, their physical power between the age of 14, 18, and put them in prison. That was my campaign in 2012. So I'll be damned if I'm going to listen to any one of those motherfuckers call me a racist. They can just go out.
Look how they twist. I was doing my research on the dead woman, Rudy, whatever her damn name is, Gingerbread, whatever her name is, the judge in this past fight. I was listening to some of her stuff, because I'm going to do a skit. I'm waiting on some more information, right? And the way they try to make it look like killing babies, Black babies, is a good thing, right? Because she said this, it's going to be a lot of white women who can still afford abortions, rich women, because they can travel here, they can do this and that, but it's going to be the poor women in these lower class communities that's not going to be able to get these abortions. So what you're saying is, you need to find a way so these people, these black people in these lower privileged communities can kill their babies. That's what you're saying. Because you know white people can kill their babies because they got the money. But we need these babies, we need these people to kill their babies for free. Why don't you teach better sex education, better protection, better sex planning, parent, or something like that? Instead of saying, if you're going to have the babies, we're going to just kill it for you.
Well, because if you go deep into the Planned Parenthood thing, you know, it depends on how deep we're going to get today. And I don't think we should go that deep today. But, you know, I think that it suffice it to say that the black population of the United States and Democrat-controlled cities and places, they are a targeted group. And, you know, the children are most targeted for being removed from the home through CPS, and terrible things happen to little black children in our country more than they happen to little white children in our country. And I'm all about the children fixing that one. That's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed from the ground up, and we have to open our eyes and see it. Now we got to get to the funny, because that's a heavy duty thing. But,
I got a question before that, right? Because my baby mama had like 6 abortions in 1 week, right? Is it any kind of way in a week, right? Is it any? And one of them was mine. I thought 2 of them was mine. Is there any way that we can ass up? Because she should be an assassin, or is there any way an employee of the week sticker on the wall and stuff like that? And she had that for 3 months straight. You know, it's like, how can you got to put something on the wall. Now, I don't think people are hard-earned money. You know what I'm saying? We should invest in, this is what we should invest in, right? I think we should invest in like this, right? Because I have a son, like I'm a deadbeat daddy, right? And I'm a deadbeat daddy. Yeah. I don't claim my sons, but it would be a lot easier to claim my son if the government would put in a plan like, hey, we know you're a deadbeat daddy, but for 1 weekend, if you bring your kid and no guns to the ballpark, we're going to let your kids into the Laker game. Daddy's in for free. If you a nigga in the hood and you don't take care of your daddy, you know what I'm saying? We're going to let you, what you like, the Rams? Okay, we're going to give you the Rams. Free popcorn and peanuts for everybody. Put the guns down and all you gang members come up here and we're going to give you a section. You ain't going to shoot nobody in front of your kids, are you? We're going to
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. You need to think about running for office. That's why you like Trump, because you can see Trump is for different kind of solutions to problems. But I like that. Yeah, why not do that? Why not give a reward for acting right?
Exactly, right? And teach our kids not to be racist, right? Why don't we do this? Why don't we have our kids write books for their own experience? I don't give a damn if they in the rich neighborhood or the black neighborhood. They can write books for their experience, right? And then we'll buy them. And we'll buy the kids' book, encourage them to write, and then we'll sell them to other kids, and we encourage the other kids to read them, and we'll pay you to do an essay on it. So now you can read other kids' experience and what they go through, so that way you can not teach these kids how to hate each other. You can teach these kids how to understand each other.
Absolutely. That's what needs to happen from the bottom up. We got to reorganize everything. That's why I always call on the grandmothers. You know, every grandmother, you know, is really in charge of herself and 50 other people. That's the reality. And the grandmothers are running all the communities, and they just need to get their heads right. You know what I mean? They need to get their heads right and put their heads around, we got to raise these kids, keep them safe, and get them so they have a good future. We can't turn them against each other, you know, because we're afraid of what the people above us are going to do if we don't. We have to start over. And I love now your grandmother. She's something different, isn't she, your grandma?
Yeah, my grandmother, I love my grandma. She spoiled me when I was young, but she didn't play. I saw her shoot my grandfather in the foot because he was for us. And they was both drunk. Put your foot on the table. He's like, you ain't finna shoot me. Put your damn foot on the table. Wow! Oh, woo, grandma is crazy, you know. My grandmother was crazy having a wig. When she turned that wig around, it was trouble for you. I don't know why she had to turn the wig around, or she was straighten it up. But when she fixed that wig, I don't know if you in trouble. You better run, hide, because some shit is about to go down. You know what I'm saying?
But am I right about grandmothers are running everything?
Yeah, grandmother is crazy, right? Because it's a generation of women in LA. When I talk about these women, right, they say you wrong, right? But they date these women, right? There's a lot of women that leave their kids with the grandma. The grandma,
Right.
they don't even want to be called. No, they want to be called Big Mama. You call somebody grandma
Yes.
nowadays.
That's who I am. I'm called Big Mama. Yeah, I'm Big Mama.
Yeah, Big Mama. Yeah, Big Mama. You know, so you don't want to be called grandmother because a lot of kids are left with the grandmother, and that's where the kids are getting their life lessons from. So it's actually working out a little bit better, you know, because a lot of parents that's trying to raise their kids, they're getting influenced by a lot of this new world order and a lot of this socialist stuff. Because I saw kids at the protests, you know, people out there shooting tear gas. Like that. And I'm like, this is not no place for no kids. I'm like, hey, can you watch out? Because if they start shooting tear gas, we don't want the kids to get hit. Well, the kids shouldn't be here. There's not no place for no kids. The kids shouldn't be in all this violence and hate and things like that because they don't grow up and think it's right. I don't want my kids seeing this. I want my kids reading books. Like, right? So somebody asked me a question, right, on my Facebook page. And I hate when people do this. If somebody listens to me on Facebook, you know, I hate when I call you, you talk all that shit on my Facebook page, and when I call you as a man, you hang up on me or you don't answer. We don't need to do stuff on Facebook. Somebody called me the other day or text me on my page, when was America great for black people, right? And I told him I've done a whole skit when we was Republicans, right? When we got out of slavery and most of our the House members in the Republican Party were black.
Frederick Douglass.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frederick Douglass. You know what I'm saying? Harriet Tubman. We was breaking out of slavery. Black Wall Street, when we had our own community and money didn't leave the black community for 5 years. You know, what about all our civil rights heroes that got beat and for the things I experience right now? What about all the basketball players that broke the sports athletes that broke barriers, athletes and things like that? You know, so my people have been great. So it's not it has not been the best for us, but it's always getting better for us, you know. And right now, people talk about, well, white people can do this to us, and white people can do this to us. But LeBron James or people with money are in position can do something any color they want to. LeBron James has the ability to fire his white coach. He has the ability to fire his white agent, his white whatever. You know, the same with a lot of people. So we have a lot of black people in power and in positions that can change things. But instead of changing things, they'd rather sit back on their pedestal and say, okay, well, you know what? We really not getting justice. You know what? We really need this stuff. And then they make up these bullshit ass lies, right? I don't know how many black people that's athletes and millionaires say, I even got pulled over when I was driving my Mercedes in the hood. I even got pulled over. Everybody is talking the same story because they want to make us feel like they understand what we're going through, and they don't. You know, they don't understand. They don't understand actually going to the police, because there's two things you can say, or there's two words you can say. I mean, 3 words you can say. 1, 2, 3, or one of them. Talk to my lawyer that I can never say.
Right.
You have a
it's a class war. They don't want us to know that it's a class war. They want us to think that it's more about racism. And I'm not discounting racism because there are a lot of racists and racism. But, you know, one way to stop racism is to go by the law of the Constitution of the United States, which outlaws racism, and get that into the courts where there are judges who uphold the law instead of interpret it to, you know, get a kickback from sending young kids to prison. They're all invested in private prisons. So how can they create any justice? They can't. So We have to start. We have to start from the bottom and build it back up, and we have to do it our way for our. Like I always tell people, stop saying Trump, is going to lead us in this and that. Hey, Trump works for me. Trump works for you. We don't work for Trump.
What is racism nowadays? I know what racism was back in the days, but when you have white people going up to white officers, white people in communities because they live in a community and calling them racist and things like that because they live in a community.
But you notice, no, I got to interrupt here because this is all theater. Now, what I notice, and maybe I'm just because I'm looking for it or I see it, I see a lot of white women going up to black police officers and telling them how things work, and I am infuriated by that. How dare they friggin' think that they're not a white supremacist just by that alone?
That's what I'm asking. What is racism now? If that ain't racism, what is racism now?
Well, it's just a word now, but it's a word that covers a bunch of dirty crap that sends a lot of children and youth of color to prison to do work for 21 cents for corporations that the judges own a part of those prisons and the corporation they're working for. This shit is so dirty, there's no turning it around. It's got to go. When they say we got to, when the left says, the left that runs all this shit, when they say we have to burn this shit down, that's when something has to happen.
Not Don Lemon, huh? Don Lemon ain't got to say we got to have the real George Soros say it. Like somebody got to get a message from George Soros to burn this son of a bitch down, and we all gonna have to go through it. George Soros said he got the money to do it.
What they want to burn down is the rights of the people. The rights of the people to have equal justice in the courts. That's what they want to burn down, the bastards, and we're not gonna let them do it.
And you know what? And I don't want to do no socialist comedy because I'm not going to make no other comedians funny or turn down my comedy so other comedians can seem like they're funny. Like, you are too funny in the club. There got to be other funny people up in here so you can't be as funny because we need some more funny people.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, don't be as funny as you're supposed to be. Turn it down a little bit.
Get up there. You're talking about, where you have to do the song and dance. Well, that's what hating Trump is. That's the shit right there. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. One time he said, Kofifi instead of coffee. That's funny. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You don't even know what's happening. Zip it.
You know what I tell people on the street? I have a game show, right? I go on the street and I offer people $100 if they can tell me the most racist thing Donald Trump ever said about black folks.
I ain't gave up.
I haven't gave up a dime.
You never had to spend a dime.
You know why it's easy? Because I was the same dude. I didn't even hate Trump. I just went along with everybody else said. The reason I started liking Trump. Yeah, the reason I started liking Trump because I'm a comedian. I started looking for material, but everything he was saying was true. I started doing a research like, damn, he's not lying. He's not lying. But then when you try to tell people, hey, he's not lying, or do your research, people don't even know. Like, what's crazy in my neighborhood? People see all these businesses popping up, right? These Starbucks in the hood and things like that. And the first thing they say is regentrification. They're not looking at maybe it's opportunity zones. You don't have no money to put it in a neighborhood to build a Starbucks or a market like that. So rich people are putting things in our neighborhood so black people can get jobs, right? They're looking at like, oh, look, they're trying to change the neighborhood. They regentrify the neighborhood. They're doing this, they're doing that. No, they're giving black people in that neighborhood jobs. If you can buy it, I don't think LeBron James is doing it. LeBron, look, think about this, right? The top, what I think, a couple of people like George Soros and Bill Gates, don't they have more money than half the population of the world?
The 9/10.
If they wanted to end world hunger or
like
anything, where's all this money keep on saying? Well, George Soros just donated $250 million to this. Mark Zuckerberg just donated $50 million to what? What program? Who's benefiting from it? We don't see
Well,
the
that
money.
makes me so damn mad too, because they're paying these kids to go in the street and do what they're doing. They're getting paid. Now, if they can afford to pay the kids to do that, why can't they afford to give them a good job that has a good future? Why can't they do that? Why do they have to sacrifice them to get arrested or shot? They don't care about them. People are getting tricked. It's all a rich man's trick. And here's the biggest trick of all. When they talk about billionaire socialists, that shit don't exist. That's an oxymoron. There's no such fucking thing as a billionaire socialist. Hello?
That
God,
don't
that
make sense.
makes me mad.
That don't even make sense. How can it be a billionaire socialist? He will break himself. He will. I mean, and then he's on top of that, he's a philanthropist. He's a billionaire socialist. That's a philanthropist. Think about it.
You can afford to hire all those kids instead of telling them to break windows and get, sent to the prisons that I'm sure he owns a large percentage of, or get shot so they can get their organs and sell them. Instead of doing that, why don't he just give them some nice jobs in the future? He can afford that. It's probably cheaper.
Exactly. And also, right, you got your boy, little Mikey, from New York. He done spent all this money, in all these swing states, so these ex-felons can come back and they can have votes. So he's trying to swing the votes to Democrats by paying off. They're doing an investigation about that, right? And I tell people all the time, right, like, don't trust me. Look at Donald Trump work. It's impossible for him to look. Think about this. Can you even?
You know how I think about it. Wait, I'm going to interrupt you because I'm older.
No,
than you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think all these felons that they're bailing out to vote, you know what? Those felons, what's the number one thing in prison that they hate? Child molesters. So those people that's getting bailed out, they know where all the evil comes from. They know what makes people go to prison because they've been abused by child molesters and abusers. So they're going to go out and they're going to vote for Trump because Trump's against that and he's going to stop it. So let them bail out all they want because every one of those prisoners knows where the root problem is and they're going to vote for Trump. How do you like that?
There's been more child molesters locked up under Donald Trump than the last 3 presidents combined. Google it if you don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So even had the child trafficking. That's why I tell people, look at the child trafficking laws he passed. Look at for all kinds of things. Y'all don't look at the policies. Y'all just look at what the Democrats say. Think about this. In 4 years, the Democrats haven't said one thing Donald Trump done right. Not school reform, not prison reform, not opportunity zones, not even the deal he made with the Middle East right now, right? The peace deal. You know what they're saying? It's a distraction from coronavirus.
Well, that's how stupid they are.
Nancy Pelosi, it's a distraction from coronavirus. That's why he's trying to do the peace deal, because it's a distraction. So he ain't got to talk about coronavirus.
The last thing they want is peace because all they do is they're invested in war. They're invested in all the private corporations that make the instruments of war and put people in prison. I call it the prison military industrial pharmaceutical, what do they call it? Complex. It's all to control and lock down people. And, they're doing it a community at a time. And Black people are very identifiable. They're the most identifiable group in the United States. And that's why they're the number one target of it, because they think they can get away with it.
And also was reading the book, right, that a lot of different races consider Black men the most masculine men. So if you demasculate that man by putting things in by not leaving a father in the house, by letting them know everything in life is I mean, you can be gay in life and people will still accept you. You know what I'm saying? You can grow up and turn yourself into a woman. It's certain things that are against. You can grow up and wear purses. You demasculating the Black men. So it's not a lot of strong Black men. Think about this, right? Black Lives Matter. Most of the people you see out there is a lot of screaming ass Black women. You don't see too many men out there. You don't see too many men holding protests like that. You see
I
mostly.
know, that's why I say the men have been totally pussified, that they don't have the balls, and I don't blame them, because you never know when you're going to get shot. Just like you never know what your baby mamas is going to do. But if men had any balls at all, they would go home. They would go home and they would tell their women, "You sit down and close your mouth, because all you're doing is spreading a lot of hatred. You take care of, take care of you and what needs to be done in your immediate circle. Shut that mouth. Stop screaming out all that hatred and let us take care of it. And our job is to protect you and the children, and stop trying to make us weak so we can't do that." You know how they overthrow countries? The first thing they do is they go and they get all the men and they send them away to do labor in another country. That's how they make a population vulnerable, so then they can get at the women and the kids. That's what it's about. It's about that in every war you look at, in every civil strife, in every quasi-revolution, that they're just going after slaves and locking up people for labor camps. But they always remove the men. In this country, 1 in 4 African-American men are in prison. That's how they do it here, with their fake laws. And it's all fake laws. And there's a lot of innocent people in those prisons, a lot of innocent men in those prisons. The guilty ones are walking free, and the guilty ones are putting the innocent ones in there. And it's just disgusting. We have to change it from the bottom up. And that's why I say to grandmas of all cultures, colors, and stripes, we have to raise our kids better. We have to take care of them better. And we have to empower our men so they can take care of us. Hello, you don't get rid of them so you can run your mouth. Go home and do what needs to be done. You got a lot of dirt swept under that rug in your living room. Clean it out. Clean it out and let these men protect us. Start building them up instead of tearing them down. And the men need to hear that too. Y'all have to do what you put here to do, and stop being so afraid and pussified that somebody's going to call you out. Let them call me whatever name they want. I don't give a damn. It's not going to stop me for 1 second.
You got to rephrase that, because there's more women that like pussy than men out here that liking pussy. There's more men out here that like assholes than they like pussy holes, right? So in actuality, we losing men. We having a lot of women who say they don't need a man. We have a lot of men that thinking they women. We have a lot of women that are actually having sex, killing babies. You know what I'm saying? So and then we have grown men, black men, killing each other. So we getting it from each angle. If we're not switching sex or messing with the same sex, we be getting killed, or we're getting killed before birth. So we are distinct, and then if you got one baby like me, I'm not, I don't claim all my kids. That would be crazy of me, So I claim to get the best 2, or 2 I think gonna make it to the NBA. I think the 2 right here got a chance to make it to the NBA. So them 2 is on the list. I got a daughter, I don't think she's gonna be shit, because she look like her mama and she act like her mama. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave her alone. But the 2, I think one's gonna be tall and one is fast. So them 2 I claim, until one of them get a little slow, or this, I will find another one. They can be replaced, but it's only 2 at a time. So it's a percentage thing. So out of 10, I figure if I take at least 2 of them, that'd be cool. If not, and one of them make it behind my back without me, that's when I'm gonna come on well, your mama didn't say nothing. The NBA star. Well, with your mama fault, she didn't say nothing. I wanted to be something in your life. Start all over, So I already got my plan. I'm gonna either get rich through comedy, or one of my 10 kids, the 8 I don't claim, is gonna be famous. You gotta have a backup.
I like it. It's an alternative thinking plan. But what are we really going to do? We have to wake people up. I like how you're out there in the street and waking people up by making them laugh. That's the best way to do it, don't you think?
Oh, right now I got a question. I got with my question now, right? Because right now I want to ask due process. A lot of people don't know about due process. And,
no, they don't know shit about due process, but that's what is our country, is that we have the right to due process. That means you don't throw nobody in prison that's innocent. That's what that's about. Damn.
Exactly. So on my 3 question show today, if they answer 3 questions right about due process, I'm gonna give them $50, right? No, they're not, because they don't know, and I hate to say it, they don't read Yeah, I have my notes. I got so many. I'm a writer, so I got so many damn notes around. I got notes on top of. I got notes on top of notes
That's
on
how
top
I
of.
do too.
I can't even find the notes. So I'm always writing. I got books and empty books. I got it's somewhere around here. I'm like a mad scientist around here. But I've done a little research on I've done a little research on due process, and part of the thing I want to do, right, is I make it funny, but I'm also going to say something to educate them. At some point
Good.
in time, you have to take the comedy out and educate. You can start off being funny and things like that, but if you can educate them at the same time about the process and things like that, and it started because people will remember it better through music or comedy.
Yeah.
So if you laugh and can remember, or you should put it in the they can remember it, it's easy for them to remember, and instead of just telling them because they don't want to hear it, But I'm going to make it into a joke, and then when I finish the video, I'm going to put it and edit it on YouTube, so whoever don't know about due process and things like that, as far as the laws and how it relates to the
I
police.
love that you're going on due process because that is the deal. We have a constitutional republic, and every one of us has constitutional rights that are not being upheld in the fake courts of this country. That's why you don't get the verdict that's on the side of justice, because somebody's doing it just to put the money in their own damn pocket.
Due process is the
right?
only thing in the due process is the only thing in the Constitution that's mentioned twice. That's how important it was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the only thing in the Constitution that's mentioned twice. You feel me? So, and people don't know that we all.
Am I in trouble?
No, we're just going in and out.
That's because I'm moving, I bet. Hold on.
Okay.
Can they hear us okay or no?
You're good. Continue as you are.
Okay, continue as I are.
Yeah.
Okay, go on about due process. Hallelujah, somebody's talking about that.
Yeah, because a lot of us don't know what due process is, right? And if we knew our stuff like that, when these police pull us over and things like that, and take us to jail and don't give us our due process, we'll be able to bring that up in court and things like that, and they'll have to respect our due process or throw court cases out. And a lot of innocent people, like you said, wouldn't be in jail if we had our due process. So this is what I'm saying. This is another proposal, right? If you like you said, the justice system. So if you want to defund the police, okay, defund the police. Let's refund the justice system. Let's get some better lawyers.
Absolutely.
Let's get some real private investigators. You know what I'm saying? That way, if they do get arrested, right, they have the best representation to prove that they're innocent. They have the best investigators. Now, the system don't have to do this, but all these so-called millionaires and billionaires who say they want a better system, LeBron James and Spike Lee and all these dudes is talking and stuff like that, they can for sure do it. Y'all can get a team of civil rights lawyers or criminal lawyers and things like that. Y'all can even actually pay for some to go to school to represent the black community just for that. So that means if somebody black, they don't have to mess with no district attorney. They can have a private attorney. But you rather fund the people that burn down the country. Right? You rather give them bail money, them representation, them lawyers and all that other stuff. But the people who really need it, you look past them. You know what I'm saying? Give us the innocent people who've been framed by some of these crooked cops, the 1% or the 2%. You know what I'm saying? Give that person that it may look like it been a crime, but if he done it, but if he had a little bit more investigation or if somebody was really on the street asking witnesses questions, y'all can understand this man is innocent. He didn't have that gun. He didn't kill that man. He didn't say that to that woman. You know what I'm saying? He didn't touch that girl. You feel what I'm saying? But if we don't have the because most of us, if we're in jail, we can't make the phone calls and be like, hey, can you call this witness for me? Because we don't have, because the phone calls cost a lot of money, or people don't have the system to accept the phone call. So when we're in a jailhouse, it's basically us, a public defender, and nobody, the judge and the DA. If we have a family member come, we can't talk to our family member. We can't tell them, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? The public defender You're not going to call your family member and let your family member know what you need, or what he done, or can you do this for me, or we need to do that. So when you go to jail, it's not going to jail is bad. It's what you got to go through in the fear of somebody not representing you right, and you go to jail for something you didn't do. That's the
Right.
worst thing.
That is the
So like,
worst thing.
if you have a proper justice system, you wouldn't give a damn about the police. We're fighting for the wrong thing. It's always going to be
Right.
crooked police, assholes, dumbass. It's always going to be. It's crackhead doctors.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
it's people in every profession. It's messed up. You think it ain't no racist? You think out of all the doctors in the world, you don't think it's one of them that's racist? That don't give a damn about a black patient when you get on the table? You know, so it's racism in every field. Y'all just picking one field, right? Do you like Donald Trump on school choice, right? I called myself, at one time, I was the dumbest person in the world, right? Because I went to the dumbest school, in the dumbest city, in the dumbest state, supposedly in the dumbest country. So, stats speaking, I was the dumbest dude in the world. You feel me? But if my parents had the chance to say, hey, this school is failing you, you're gang banging, you're doing this, you're doing that. So I'm going to take you out of this school and I'm going to put you in a more productive school, right? I would have took that chance and I probably would have ended up better, right? You can leave the assholes and the gang bangers and people who want to do that and don't want to work and learn. You can leave them in a certain school and you can make a certain program for them. But the people who do want to learn, and who can't learn in our community or learn in our schools are getting like, if you can compare my 12th grade academics to somebody's at like Notre Dame, right down the street, 10 miles away from my school, the academics is totally different. I'm on algebra, they on some kind of college courses or something like that. I'm on basic English, they on some fucking government or something, you know? But it's the courses. So if I make straight A's at Locke and he makes straight A's at Notre Dame, them are two different schools. If we go to the college, right, they're gonna give me a better opportunity because affirmative action. But if I go to a school because they think I'm smart, I got straight A's, and they send me to an Ivy League school and I'm not ready because I got a Locke education out of Watts, I'm gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
I'm not going to handle the course. I'm not going to be able to handle the education. So I'm going to drop out. But if I have an opportunity to go to a historical black college and he got good teachers and good programs and a good education system and things like that, and I have an opportunity to get the same education as an Ivy League for less, and you know what I'm saying, and I have better equipped for me, that's something I might want to look into.
Yeah, so locking people into a failed system where they basically are looked at as prey. It's just the most racist thing there is, and so those are not the people who benefit from that system are not the people who should be talking to anybody about what racism is.
And jail and education, right? Joe Biden is the person that ended Pell Grants for prisoners in prison. Google it. He ended it. So how is he going to talk about prison reform and education, things like that, when he ended the program that was getting people, prisoners educated, so when they come out of prison, they have some type of education, government-funded education, where they can probably get a better job. He ended that.
Well, don't you like what Candace Owens says, where she says it's a plantation mentality and, escape the plantation? Don't you think she's all right on that one?
Yeah, because I was trapped on the plantation. That's why I tell people it's easy for me to understand where y'all coming from, because I was the same person. I was trapped. I never argue. I always argue facts. I got that. I always argue facts about stuff I didn't know. Because listening to other people like barbershop, things like that. So I'm going up there listening to facts. Oh, Trump done this, Trump done that. But when I done my research, I didn't realize how stupid I was.
I didn't either. I had the very same experience. I bought it all and thought, I was on the right side and that I was, fighting against the right thing. And until I saw it with my own eyes, and it was like a slow awakening, but it was like, wait a minute, you're locking people up and you're locking people down. You're locking them so they got no place to go, no place to get better, nowhere to turn to. It's just exactly like they did to, the Jewish people in my family in Germany. It's exactly like slowly close every single door so they can't get out. They can't help themselves. They can't do nothing. And they did it slow. In Germany, they did it slow. They didn't just like slam down on the Jews overnight. They did it slow. First, they did it with phone numbers. You had to register. And you look at how they take a captive and targeted population and destroy them from within. And that is exactly what's happening in this country. And people like the Jews in Germany thought those are the people on their side.
And then the Jews give up their guns too, because Hitler said they want to protect y'all and things like that. What America is trying to do, trying to take the guns so you don't have a way to defend yourself. Oh, give us your guns. Yeah. So that was another thing that was taken out of the Hitler book that the Democrats are trying to do right now. Take your guns so you won't be able to defend yourself.
Get rid of the police so people, and bring in bad people from all over the world. Get rid of the police. And those bad people that come in from all over the world, they go to working class communities, heavily, African American communities. That's where they go. So then you get rid of the police, so they're double targeted in your community. Get rid of all protection, bring in the worst elements, get rid of the jobs, and then take the guns. And then there's only one more from the school to the prison, and it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And while we're putting you in prison and taking every hope you have away and destroying you on every level, let us tell you how the other side is racist.
You know what's crazy? The police now is the nicest police I ever saw, because the police back in the days when I was gangbanging and things like that, that was the most racist police I ever saw, because they were
especially in LA. Especially in LA.
So when people say the police are racist, they don't know racist police like we do in LA. Because we have a long history, Rampart Division, setting people up. They used to take us in other neighborhoods and drop us off in other gangs' neighborhoods. Rodney King was on every night. Every night. We his camera. So growing up to us, we respect the police, because back in the days, they were like another gang to us, right? If you talk to them, they're going to leave you alone. But if you say one word out of line, they is going to beat the dog shit out of you. And that's just the law.
That's like that movie that's like that movie. Oh no, I can't remember anybody's name. Denzel Washington was in that great movie about the police. Oh yeah. That was the truth about, that was a true story too. The truth about how it used to be, the police there.
No, I was caught up in one of the stings, right? This what happened, right? I was big in the drug game, right? And a lot of people know it. So when the police raided my house, right? They raided my house. They took my weed, my drugs, they took my money and everything, right? And me and my grandfather was at my grandfather's house. They had me and my grandfather cuffed up. After they took the house and raided my house, they uncuffed me and told me to stop selling drugs and walked out, right? And I'm thinking to myself, they finna come back and get me soon, since I stopped selling drugs and everything, but I got company, I went back, they never came back and got me, never got no paperwork or anything. So 2 years later, I got some paperwork in the mail and basically asking me was I a victim of this and this and that, they were sending out letters to people's houses and stuff like that. I don't know if somebody told or something like that, but they was part of the Rampart district, and most of them, it was 2 cops, and the rest of them was gang members. So, and I got the tip, wonder they didn't talk right, and they had like tattoos, and they just looked real shady. It wasn't no black officers or no white officers. It was just Mexicans, and it turned out that they had a group. It was a man and a woman officer. They hired their homeboy. They used to do hits and raids on houses and stuff like that, get people dope, and distribute it, and they asked me, do I want to go to court? I go to court. They're like, if you go to court, this happened to you. You go to court and things like that. So I was caught up in a Rampart thing a couple of times. This how crazy it was. My house used to get raided at least once or twice a week.
Oh
I
my
had so
God.
many. Yeah, and it was like this. Hey, Black, we're gonna be up your house later on. Make sure you got the drugs out. I mean, they knew me by heart. It just so happened I knew somebody in the police station, you know, but they're like, man, if it come in your house, you better get everything out your house. They come people playing dominoes. But it was to the point where and sometimes they find shit and they're like, all right, we got your ass, you know, but it's not enough. We're gonna come back later. Just give us this. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And they didn't just do that to me. It was everybody knew who the crooked officer was. And we didn't even think they was crooked. We just think they was giving us a break. You know what I'm saying? Or if you get out of line, you will get your ass whooped. And we didn't tell that they whooped our ass because most times when they whooped our ass, we had dope on us, we had guns on us, you know what I'm saying? And things like that. They would whoop your ass and let you go with the gun or the dope. So we figured that was fair. You know, back in my day, whoop my ass and let me go. You know, I don't want to go to jail. So boom, 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 boom. So some people used to actually talk shit so you can whoop their ass because they know you can't take them to jail looking like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so it was kind of a trade-off. So my understanding, and a lot of black people understanding out here where I'm at, their understanding of police brutality is entirely different from what Black Lives Matter think it is. You know what I'm saying? Because don't nobody I talk to on these streets think anything these officers done was wrong. Nobody. It's only these mad ass women, these gay ass college student dudes, you know what I'm saying? All these white people who saying that they fight for equality and they want the system to change. They're tired of black people dying. Well, if you tired of black people dying, invest in the black community.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Hello.
It was a homeless dude out there, right? At the protest I was at, my partner got a tape. He said, look, man, I'm out here homeless, and y'all up here fucking with the police, and y'all gonna leave, right? And then they're gonna be mad. Same thing I was basically saying. Then they're gonna be mad. They the ones protecting me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all making them mad. And y'all not investing nothing in my community. So what I'm finna do is I'm finna start fucking with the police, and I'm finna make them come over here and start shooting motherfuckers, or y'all finna start giving me some money. You know what I'm saying? He took out them Black Lives Matter white folks and he go $100. He made about $500, but he's basically telling the truth, but like the same thing I'm saying. If you're gonna help us, don't help us destroy the community. Help us build a community. Some of these black owned businesses and buy something. Go help the homeless. Now, I see a lot. Now, when I go feed the homeless, I see a lot of white people out there. They don't want
there's
no
a lot of
credit.
white people. Yep.
They don't want no credit. They're not filming themselves. They don't want nobody. They're not doing it for the likes or to be noticed or anything. They're doing it because they genuinely care. Like when I tell black people my page, they think when I go down there and I film the homeless people and stuff like that, and I'm giving them food, a lot of black people that's haters think I'm showing off. Oh, look at me, I'm feeding homeless people. In actuality, what I'm doing is, there's a lot of people that's on my Facebook page or my YouTube page don't get an opportunity to see this. People need to see how people are sleeping on the ground. People need to see that it's mentally ill people out there. People don't need to see that our people are suffering when we worried about other people from other countries while we got this right here. We need people to see that these are our people too. We can't forget about this.
Absolutely.
And I don't make people aware of this, who will? There ought to be more people out here making people aware of this. We ought to be sick of this. But then you have these billionaires talking about how much money they're going to defend. How much
they're so afraid that we'll all get smart to the fact that it's a class war. They're all so afraid of that they're better having us think that it's a race war, which of course is part of class war. But if people would just stop fighting each other and join together against the people who own all of us, we'd all be doing a lot better. And that's why I do like Trump, because that's exactly what he's doing. Am I right?
You're right, because there's no person in the world, right, that can be hated by everybody. He's hated by other countries. He hated by Democrats. He hated by black people. He hated by Mexicans.
Republicans hate him.
Come on. I did a video with all the Republicans like, well, you know what? Donald Trump is a lion. He's a jackass. He's this. He's never going to be all that. But when he got up in the Republican office and he saw all the people clinging to him, now it's not. Now the Republican Party is Donald Trump Party now. They may not want to say it, but the Republican Party has taken on Donald Trump personality. They just don't have the balls Donald Trump has.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we would have knew who none of these senators was if it wasn't for Donald Trump. We never knew who none of them, right?
I'm really happy to see that a lot of the voices that are coming out of the Donald Trump side, are African American, stronger and stronger. I'm so happy to see that. I think, wow, this revolution is being led by African Americans who really are educated as to how this Ponzi scheme works from bottom to top. And they'll lead all the rest of us out. They're freeing everybody.
You know what the biggest protest a black person can do? The biggest protest.
What?
Not vote Democrat. That can be the
for the Jews too. I say that to all my black friends, when I'm talking, I say, please, when you leave, take a Jew with you. Do me a favor. If I've ever made you laugh, when you're leaving the Democrat plantation, please take a Jew with you, because they're entrenched in there too. Voting against their own damn interests to kill their own people elsewhere. That's how stupid they are. I can't stand it.
Yeah, and like I say, and I'm on the same page with you, because it's like black folks, right? They keep on saying what Donald Trump. This is stupid, right? I tell people what Donald Trump done for black folks, and they say some stupid shit like, well, he only done that to try to get the black people vote. I don't give a damn why he done it.
Yeah, right.
The black person, who cares why he done it? He done it, and you're benefiting from it. You like it or not, he done it. Oh, he only done that. And it's like this. Donald Trump only helped the rich, right? Okay, well, why all the richest people in the world don't like Donald Trump?
Right.
Why all of them don't? If he's looking out for the rich, why all of them don't like him? Because I have videos when Bill Gates tried to sell him a vaccine, when he tried to tell Amazon, post office, you need to charge him more money. When he didn't, when he all the sex stuff with George Soros, right? So every top millionaire in the billionaire in the world has a problem with Donald Trump. And we know why.
Because he's disrupting their quote, their prey. He's disrupting their class system that they put on all of us, so that it has a bottom that they can get a large pool of docile, desperate, slave class people. And they never stopped slavery. Like they say, there's more black men in prison that was ever owned as slaves in this country. Well, they never stopped it. They just put it up in new clothes and unleashed it. They never stopped it. So and the Republican Party is the one, the party of Lincoln. Hello.
Yeah, all that we freed the slaves, right? And if Lyndon B. Johnson, it's not that he wanted to pass civil rights bill.
No, he had to.
Limousine driver nigga for 50 years. Calling for however long he was working for him, he was calling his limousine driver nigga, and get used to me calling you, because that's just something you're going to have to deal with.
I know, I read that.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a lot of racism, right? And Donald Trump,
my one friend, he said, he turned me onto this. He's a Nation of Islam, and he says prejudice is, he said racism is prejudice plus power. I think Malcolm X said it first. Prejudice is racism is prejudice plus power, because you can go around hating somebody because they got different hair color than you. But when you have the means to marshal the army or the police force to go and attack their civil rights of due process, that's a different thing than, not liking somebody. It's a different thing. Yeah. That's the systematic part. That, if you talk about due process, I think that addresses racism as well as we can ever understand or fight against it, because we all do have the right to due process in this country, no matter our color or class. But we don't really. Not in practical terms.
You have to fight for your due process. If not, they're gonna take it away. And if everybody if everybody was on one page, say if everybody was on one page and say, okay, we're gonna make the government respect everybody's due process, it'll be a whole lot different, right?
Yes.
And then right, think about this, right? These people talk about Donald Trump is trying to be a president or be a dictator or be like one of these dudes who was in office forever, right?
Uh-huh.
Think about Donald Trump in office for 4 years, hopefully 8. How long has Joe Biden been in office?
47 years.
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, she's been in there 120 years.
So when you talk about somebody's dictators that have been in office for all these times, Donald Trump, all he can be in office for 8 years. You've been in office for 40 or 50 something years, right? So
Yeah.
if anybody should be out of office, it should be you, because if you've been in office 40 or 50 years, you might as well call yourself a damn dictator.
Yeah, no kidding.
Doesn't
They were sitting there all through the LBJ years and the suppression of the Civil Rights and the Voting Rights Act. They were in office that whole time. Now they're telling us that they're going to be the one to solve the problems that they created. Where Joe Biden made the law, the 3 strikes law and all that other shit. Now he's going to solve it for us. I mean, it's such horrible mind control, and they use it all by fear. They get everybody afraid. They get everybody afraid that somebody's coming for them, and so they'll turn on their neighbor.
I said something yesterday, right? Like, everybody talk about how many people supposedly Donald Trump killed, right? What about the lives he saved? Let's talk about them. Is we ever going to talk about the lives Donald Trump saved? He's going to save? He will save?
No.
Is anybody going to talk? So if because, all right, well, what number do you think would satisfy the Democrats right now? If it wasn't 200,000 dead, what number do you think they would be satisfied with people dying? That is, they would say, okay, Donald Trump done a good job. Let's pick a number. Pick a number of
there is no number, because they just blame him whether he did something or didn't do something. They don't want to win, because they ain't got nothing. So they don't really want to win. They like being real comfortable, go, oh, well, look what he did now. They don't have no ideas. They don't have any plan. All their whole thing is like, oh, look what he did now, which is a total, if you're going to talk about, classism, racism, that is a completely protected view of privilege, to sit there and not have to make any changes and just go, look what he did. That's privilege at its highest.
No, you know what they got to say? This is all they got to say. They don't have to do no explanation. They don't have to explain after they use this phrase, the phrase right here. He's adding fuel to the flames of the fire. That's all they say. I don't know how many times I heard that. He's adding fuel to the flames of the fire. Oh, he's adding fuel to the flame. Or this one right here. He's trying to divide the country. There's another boy, him trying to divide the country. There's always adding fuel to the flame, or he's another thing when he's trying to divide the country, or using racism to divide the country. They don't have to do no explanation. Elijah coming.
And they got Kamala Harris in there, who we talked about her background and the things she's done and the things she represents. And then nobody can criticize her because, she's the protected gender and the purportedly protected race that you can never, ever criticize. They're above criticism. They're above any kind of accountability because somebody told us so.
So the white woman that's a Christian that got 5 kids is going to be our next justice, Supreme Court judge. So she's off limits because she's white and she's Christian. So we can talk about everybody can talk about her, right? But we can't talk about Kamala Harris. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I think they're going to come for that. I think if he does that, nominate Amy, you know her name.
Yeah, her name. That's my.
They're gonna come for her hard, but I think they might be thinking twice about it because she might, she has 2 adopted African American kids. So what are they going to do? When they start in with their, racist shit that they always do, and their sexist shit that they always do, like calling me, they call me every racist, anti-Semitic, and thing that they could think of. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
aren't you the ones that are against that? But,
Yeah.
you know, when they come for her, you know, it's just a built-in backfire. I think Trump put them all in such a corner that they can't help but have nothing but backfire at themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot no matter what they do.
And
Especially
I'm
since
glad it's all.
Ginsburg is gone. And you know, Ginsburg, nobody knows how long she was dead or if she really did just die or if she's been on ice for a while. But look at the things she did and what they idolize about her. She got rid of the Mann Act, which was, you know, making it illegal to move women and children across state lines for sex trafficking. That's why she's their hero. And nobody knows
Wow.
anything about that either. Not one thing.
Wow. They
Not
they
one
know
thing.
about it. They know about it, but they don't want to say nothing about it, you know. And that's the cool thing
Well,
about it.
they think we're so stupid that we're going to believe everything they say. As you know,
You know what? One thing that every left is kind of hate. All the media is kind of on right now and scared of
what?
Q, QAnon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, they
Oh,
are
they're
scared
scared
of QAnon
shitless of
right
that.
now.
Oh yeah.
It's just a conspiracy theory, baby. They're trying to make QAnon look like it's just a conspiracy theory. They said it's #1 on the FBI most dangerous list. They ain't shot nobody, ain't killed nobody, or done that unless they talk about information. You know, they could be on the #1 list. But if you're gonna say dangerous, I'm thinking terrorists. I'm thinking people that show up while you eating and demand that you feed them and you're taking their hamburgers and drinking their drink and telling people to move out their house. I'm thinking that's more of a terrorist act than somebody who's spreading information on the internet.
Well, it's an information war. I mean, Alex Jones was right about that much. It's info wars. But yeah, they don't like Q because you know you know, it's a military operation that encourages American citizens to think for themselves and to research things for themselves and not just swallow what the people who own everything tell them. So it's a blow against slavery, and they don't like that.
Yeah, mind slavery too. You know,
That's what I mean.
I want people mind slavery because there's a lot of black people who, like you say, are trapped on that plantation still, right? And they don't understand you can do better, right? The only reason I was trapped on the plantation because I would listen to everybody and believed in everybody. If you make it in life, the white man gonna take everything away from you. The white man only gonna give you this. The police is gonna do it to you. You can't trust that person. Grew up and I never understood it because I never experienced it, right? Because in LA, it's very seldom that I can have a relationship with a white person coming from where I come from. So you don't get to ask them, hey man, is this true? Or you don't get to see them and see how they act and see if it's true, right? I didn't get a chance to experience really white people until I went to prison and I started doing comedy, right? One of the first lessons I learned in prison was from a skinhead, right? When I didn't have nothing and he wasn't supposed to give me nothing and he was sneaking, giving me stuff. You know what I'm saying? We was talking and everything, and he's trying to change life. He loved people and I guess I was part of his project. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to talk to me, he wanted to get understanding and stuff like that. I needed stuff at the time because I was just getting there, and he kind of changed my perception. And then I got to seeing how white people and black people act in prison. Right now, I've been in a place with preachers, and I've been in a place where the worst people in the world are. I'm talking about they talk about killing people, how they kill people like they eating a bowl of cereal. But
I've been in, you know, I got to say for myself, I was never in prison, but I was in a state hospital for 1 year as a teenage girl. And so, yeah, I was with people who killed people and talked about it like it was eating a bowl of cereal. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's nothing, right? But then you also understand, and when white people are proud to be white, it's not nothing against black people. You know what I'm saying? Because you put people in a pile like that, and they have to be cordial with each other, right? People are going to learn to talk to each other and respect each other. So I have to respect skinheads, and skinheads have to respect me. And you know what I'm saying? It was just politics like that, right? Everybody had to respect each other. And I wish it was kind of like that out here, right? Because one thing about prison, right?
I wish we could start a whole new race that was called the smart race and the informed race. And so everybody who was smart and cared about other people would leave the confines of the little pens they put us all in. And we would all come out, and join together and go, we got to remake everything from the ground up together, because, we all have a heart that beats. So let's forget all the rest of the stuff. Sometimes I say race itself is racism. The people who made it up were slave traders. The people who think that that's the most important thing is the race of the person are the same people who are slave traders. It's about what you think. It's about the kind of person you are. And you know what they do? They put us in these little pens and then they force us, like I'm just talking about Jewish people now and African-American people and all groups really, but they force us to defend the worst people in our own group, which that just takes us down. We have to defend the criminals in our own group and say, well, you can't say that because he's a fellow. That person is also Jewish, so you can't say that because it's against me. Well, no, it ain't. That person's a criminal. That person doesn't have, the same, he's not the same as you. He's a criminal.
Exactly. And you know what they do? What trips me out is when one of these dudes die or get shot by the police, they put up their best pictures. They put up their graduation pictures, or they with their kids and smiling and stuff like that. Like, he wasn't that in real life, you know what I'm saying? He raped somebody, or he was a drug addict, or he shot somebody, he killed somebody. Don't put up this dude's best pictures to try to make us sympathize, you know what I'm saying, with your situation. Oh, look at him, he probably wasn't a good dude. Look, he having a little bow tie and stuff like that. That dude's a killer. I don't
Right.
give a damn. You can put my baby mama in a tuxedo. She's still a damn monkey. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn what you dress her up in. You can't hide the fact that she's ugly as shit. I'm just telling you. I mean, a criminal is a criminal, and the monkey is a damn monkey.
Yeah, we have to defend each other against. Good people have to join with good people and defend other good people, and not with these outside mind control subjects and categories they got us all living under, none of which does a thing for any of us. It don't help anybody. It belittles everybody and degrades every community because we're going by their rules. And they've been in power forever. They're never going to change. They want it like it is. They want it to stay like it is.
Like Trump say, right? It should be term limits, right? You should be able to serve your term 8 years. When the president got terms, you should be able to serve your term 8 years and have somebody else slide on in. Because now you have these politicians who's been in office so long. Joe Biden ain't got no. He's not in touch with nobody today, right? He was in the 60s or the 70s and things like that. He was way when it was civil rights, when it was busting. When he got into office, the problems we was dealing with now is nothing like what the problems we're dealing with today, right? So
yeah, they just got worse and worse, and he kept yanking the system. The way they do is, I always say this, they put these people, and the only way you get in office is if you're blackmailable. If they got blackmail on you, that's the only way you get in office. And then they sit at these tables where the public money is apportioned and they divide it into private pockets. But if we had decent humans who are actually representing us, they would be dividing public money and giving it to the public. So right there, it shows you the shit is nasty and it's corrupt from the bottom up. The public isn't seeing any of their money.
You know what I tell people? Like I was telling people in the hood, right? What is the job of a politician? What do you get paid to do? Right?
He gets paid to hide the crimes. He gets paid to hide the crimes of criminals.
But his job is supposed to be take money from one person and give it to somebody else. They're a thief. They're gonna if you pay taxes, if they want to raise, like, look, we're gonna raise these taxes whether you like it or not. And we're going to take your money and give it to this person, right? I don't give a damn what you say. And I'm going to take your money and I'm going to pay for this program. and I'm going to take your money and I'm going to pay for this. And if I don't
Well, I
have
wouldn't
enough,
even care. I pay a huge amount of taxes. Well, I did when I was working, but I wouldn't even care if the monies I pay in taxes were getting to the kids that need it. I would be happy, but it don't.
but
None of it
it
gets to
don't.
the kids that need it. It all goes to it all goes in the private pockets of the people that are yanking the system, getting paid on both sides of the street.
So that's
Across
thieving.
across the street from every church is a liquor store. Think about it.
Yeah, and the next door to that is a motel, and the next door to that is a weed shop. I go to all of them. I go to look. One time they need to put all of them in one spot. They need to have a liquor store inside of a weed shop in the motel. You know what I'm saying? Next to an abortion clinic.
Don't forget the church or the synagogue part of it, because
Yeah,
it's
the
church
church.
and state. The church and state, they all, the guy comes with the big sword to knight the guy that's stealing all the money too. They're a hand in glove. It don't work. It don't work for any kids. In fact, it's anti-kids, and we have to rethink it. We got to start from the ground up. We got to rethink everything.
No, think about this. Think about this. The center of most black communities is what?
The
The church house, right? So for the last year since coronavirus been out, the center of the black community has not been able to come together
Yeah,
and
that's on
congregate.
purpose. They did that to
Yeah,
the
and if you put,
synagogues and every church. Yeah, that's how it is everywhere. Well, they don't want anybody's spiritual power or connection to God getting ignited in these times, because then you might wake up and go, hey, wait a minute, this is not how God gave me a brain, and this doesn't compute. I'm supposed to do things for the right reason at the right time with the right people to raise up children who live a good life. That's what it's about. But they don't want nobody waking up to that.
they don't, right? And like
No.
back in the days, right? They used to always have us manipulated by something, right? Back then it was the TV. Right? They tell us things, right? Install things. Now it's the internet, right? If you want to get your news, you want to get something, get it off the internet, right? And since the internet comes out, it distracts us black people with so much stuff, right? Because we don't read no more, we don't write no more, we don't do anything no more, right? It's about watching videos on Facebook, posting videos on Instagram, dancing on
Yeah.
TikTok, right? What's the latest gossip? Who done this? Who got shot? Who drinking this? What shoes is out? It got so bad we don't even watch regular TV no more. So most of our viewing and most of our information comes from our phone, right? So if
That's
you can manipulate,
that's all the kids. All the kids, they're doing them like that.
yeah. So you manipulate phones, you putting everything on phones. Now it's to the point where we can manipulate you because we can put all kind of, because right now if you most kids in doing homework in LA got something to do with Black Lives Matter. Why is you putting
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, giving our kids Black Lives Matter homework? What happened to social studies and handwriting and music, and you know what I'm saying, and things like that, right? Arts and crafts and stuff like that. Why are you giving my kids a political view, and then you're gonna make him grow up and hate the country and burn flags and think
Well,
and
they
think
want that pipeline. That's what Common Core is about. They want that pipeline straight from the public school to the prison. They want that pipeline.
and it's a hell of a pipeline too. Because look, and I see this in my community all the time, right? So when I bring things up like this, I'm not talking bad about my community. I'm doing the same thing some of these niggas in rap doing. When some of these niggas talking about all these hood rats out here and the mothers this and the niggas doing drugs and that and people getting killed and stuff like that, I'm talking about the same exact things these rappers talking about. I'm just making it funny.
Yeah. Well, we're all kind of set. I think, we have our different ways of saying it, but I think we're all saying the same thing. And, when I watch the Trump rallies, I just love it when Trump goes, African American unemployment was at its lowest. And all those white people, even if they might have some backward ideas, it don't matter, but they're all cheering. And that gives me a lot of heart, because it's like white people care about the black neighbors. White people in America care about black kids. White people in America, want to do the right thing, want to see black people excel, want to see black people, what do you call it? what do you call it? Do good. What do you call that word? Prosper.
Yeah.
We want that. We don't not want that. Stop believing that's a lie. We want that. Those are our neighbors, and you know a lot. You know the working class is the most integrated class in America. A lot of us have Black people in our family, our brother, our sister married. You know we're all integrated. We are not like the people in Beverly Hills who ain't. And I hate that they put that label on where they say the deplorables because that's the most integrated class in America.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
mind control. It's fucking mind control.
And they had me mind control because, like I said, I believe what everybody else believes. I believe all white people are racist. But think about this, right? I was doing black jokes, right? I was doing jokes. I done just as funny as all these skits, right? I had black people like, you know what? I can't share your comedy because I got people on my pages go to church. Oh, my family ain't gonna like that. You know, you too derogatory. But I'll watch it. Oh, I can't share your video. Oh, I can't donate to your channel. But you should get a job. You should try getting a job and then doing. They always gave me advice. So when I started getting a white audience, the white audience like, man, I share you with my brother at a job. Me and my baby mama watch you. Like, man, I watch you going to work. I share this on this. I do this. Like, man, I just send you $50, right? And it's a different because, right? I don't have to change myself, right? And they appreciate me for being me. I used to have to beg for donations, you know, to try to like hold fundraisers and things like that, right? I want to go feed the homeless. I'm doing a show, and I'm gonna get these flyers, and I gotta get this, and I have to do it all this, and I come up with a profit about $30 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But now,
I did the same. I did the whole same story with I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah.
I did the
But
whole
now,
same thing.
But now, since I have supporters that appreciate what I do, right, and they see me go out and feed the community and stuff like that, they don't ask me for nothing. Some people say, "Man, this is for you feeding the community. Go out and feed the homeless." They don't like go out and feed white people. You know what I'm saying? They don't stop giving me money. Oh, he's out here feeding crackheads. I'm not going to give him no money. They encourage me. You know what I'm saying? And I encourage them. So, like I tell black people, I ask black people all the time on my page, right? Who talk all that shit. Come out there and help me feed them. I'll pay for it. We'll pay for it. Or where your money at? You know what they tell me? Well, I do all this work. I do a lot of feeding the homeless. I just don't put it on Facebook. But you got all this ass and weed and, you know, you put all the negative stuff on Facebook. People fighting and pussy this and dick that and stuff like that. But you don't want to put you feeding the homeless or you just don't.
That reminds me how when somebody gets sober, well, they're afraid to say they're sober, but you know they want it. They're not ashamed to, you know, pass out in their dinner at Thanksgiving or nothing, or shit their pants in front of their kids. No, they're not ashamed to do that, but they're ashamed to say that they're not using anymore.
Yes, exactly. It fucks them right, you know. They're like, I'm not using them more. Yeah, right. We see you using, you know. But it's
well,
crazy.
I think, you know, I like that you encourage, you know, comedy. That's why it's so great because it encourages the good in people, and laughter, you know, it sets all that pain and fear free. It just pops it like a zit, you know. It just pops the power of it, and then after we laugh together, we can work together. So you're doing a good service. I'm happy to have had you here today. You know, do you still own that comedy club? Or because I like to help you, you know.
All the clubs are closed down in LA. I don't have to give me. I'm trying to do you know, the club. I was making too much money, and they raised the price on me. So, and the club is actually getting sold right now, anyway. You know, but I'm going to try to do like a drive-through internet comedy show. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Yeah, trying to
That's
do a
smart.
drive-through.
Well, you know, call me up and we'll talk about how I can, you know, help you do that. Because, you know, we got to get people laughing as hard as they possibly fucking can. They got to laugh loud and hard together right now.
True. Well, I want to thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? I got to bring you on my show. I got to definitely bring you on. I got to definitely bring you on my show one time whenever I get my show. Yeah.
I was hoping you'd do some jokes about your grandma being a crip.
Oh, no, you don't want to. Like you don't want to know them jokes. It was bad. When I come back, I got you.
Okay.
Because that's what.
All right. Well,
When I
thank
come
you.
back, I got you.
You made me all
Thank
tired now. You made me think too much, and I got to go to bed. But love to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Bye bye.